Good evening, everyone. So we'll be starting in next 1 minute. Okay, friends, let's begin the session. So again, a very good evening to all of you, and welcome to Stock Darbar with Team William Hill India. I'm Rushit Sechwal, equity analyst at William Hill India. And we start with a disclaimer that whatever we discuss today, we might discuss some index levels, some stocks, your queries, right? And so that won't be considered as an investment advice. Please do not consider it. This is just for the knowledge and the educational sharing purposes. So it's not an investment advice. Okay, so as always, let's begin this session with Nifty 50 setup. Yes, we are in a bit of choppy market. Um, you know, Nifty is not able to hold the gains. That is a major issue. जब भी थोड़ा बहुत गेन आता है निफ्टी गिव अप मार देता है. That has been the story down the line, right? आई थिंक आज का जो लास्ट कैंडल है वो भी लेटेस्ट अपडेटेड नहीं है, बट यस, दिन में अच्छा था मार्केट, बट अगेन इन इन द सेकेंड हाफ इट वेंट लोअर and closed in the negative or flat zone, right? So this has been continuously the seventh session जब हम रेड में क्लोज हुए. So not a good time for the market. We are trading below all the key moving averages. अभी एक अटेम्प्ट मारा था, आई थिंक यहाँ पे फॉलो थ्रू डे आया था, बट द रेड लाइन 50 DMA. So market is not able to move above the 50 DMA. Currently, market status is uptrend under pressure. So yes, we are in under pressure from confirmed uptrend. But if we breach this low, अभी अगर ये 786 वाला low breach होता है, then we might go to a downtrend, right? And then again we will start counting that rally attempt days, day 1, 2, 3 and all. But if we get a good momentum from here, अगर हम यहाँ से एक बार 50 DMA reclaim कर लेते हैं, then the confidence in the market will increase a lot, and then the next stop will be the 200 DMA and about that. But I think on the downside, if we breach this 22,780 level, we might see some 2-3% of fall more, and we can test the lower levels maybe around 22K. देखो यहाँ पे एक बहुत सॉलिड कंसोलिडेशन हुआ था, 21 से 22 हज़ार के बीच का बॉटम. सो आई डोंट थिंक ये वाला जो जोन है उससे नीचे जाने की प्रोबेबिलिटी अभी दिखाई देती है, क्योंकि अर्निंग्स में देखो जो खराब होना था वो ब्रॉडली हो चुका है. अभी यहाँ से थोड़ी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी हैज आल्सो इम्प्रूव्ड इन इंडिया, right? And from here we might see some momentum pickup coming up in the earnings. I think next year में ये जो consumption वाला theme है वहाँ पे एक earnings आना शुरू हो जाएगा. IT might support the earnings, even the banks might support in the earnings. So broadly, like 1 or 2 quarters down the line, the earnings will start coming in. And what happens that market doesn't wait for that earning to come, क्योंकि एक तो बेस लो हो जाएगा जब अगली बार हम यू नो जुलाई सितंबर वाला रिजल्ट आएगा, तब जुलाई सितंबर का बेस ऑलरेडी लो है. ओके, तो वहां पे एक अच्छा अर्निंग स्ट्रेंथ दिखेगा. And market always tries to price in beforehand whenever something good or bad, whatever is going to happen, market price in beforehand. So I think if something extraordinary negative situation comes up, okay, some black swan event or some other, if not black swan, then other extraordinary event which we don't know or we are not pricing in, अगर वो आ जाता है तभी आई थिंक ये वाला जोन है टूटेगा. बाकी टेक्निकली दिस इज वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग जोन एंड वी माइट होल्ड अराउंड 22K. ठीक है, 22,000 के आसपास नीचे की साइड में होल्ड कर सकते हैं. बट यस, इफ वी ब्रीच द रीसेंट लो देर आर हाई चांसेस दैट वी माइट हिट सच दीज लेवल्स ऑन द डाउन साइड एज वेल. क्योंकि देखो ये फर्स्ट वेव आया, ऊपर गए, ये सेकंड आया, फिर से ऊपर गए, देन देर इज अ चांसेस दैट इफ वी कंप्लीट दिस थर्ड देन वी माइट come around 22K. Otherwise, if we reclaim the 50 and 200 DMA, okay, then we get a good breakout and we can see some good momentum in the months ahead. But need to be cautious as of now. Not need to be panic, but if you are holding the stocks, that are too much extended and they are not a quality one, if the earnings are not supporting that well, the rally जो वो स्टॉक में हुआ, that was driven by the liquidity and the good market condition. If that was the criteria of the rally for your stock, then you need to be very careful in such stocks, because in every big rally, after this correction gets over, it's not that the same stocks will again move higher. The scripts generally change, the sector generally change. ओके, कहाँ से अर्निंग्स आएगा वो थोड़ा चेंज हो जाएगा. सो यू नीड टू बी केयरफुल अराउंड दैट. Okay. Otherwise, I think the government has uh, already given the required stimulus, जो कि demand side का stimulus है. There will be a lot of money in the hand of the middle class, upper middle class, and they will spend it. So, like the tendency is always to spend the 80% to 85% of the extra income, and so that's what they will do. So there will be a huge multiplier effect in the economy, because if you spend, then you give that money to a XYZ retailer shop. Okay, then he will spend that money, then and there comes an entire chain. पूरा chain बन जाता है spending का और income का. So the economy grows well out of that. And आई पर्सनली फील केपेक्स भी इतना खराब नहीं है. 11 लाख करोड़ का केपेक्स फिर से इस बार गवर्नमेंट ने अनाउंस किया है. सो FY 24 में जो डिलीवर किया था केपेक्स, दैट माइट बी अराउंड 10 लाख करोड़. ठीक है, तो उससे 10% ज्यादा ही है अगर आप रिवाइज्ड एस्टिमेट से देखो तो. एंड दे हैव गिवन लॉट ऑफ पावर टू स्टेट ऑल्सो. स्टेट भी काफी सारा केपेक्स स्पेंड करेंगी. प्लस द RBI हैज कट द रेट बाय 25 बिप्स, सो वहां से भी एक सपोर्ट मिलेगा. मे बी नेक्स्ट नहीं तो उसके बाद वाली मीटिंग में एक आध रेट कट और दे दे, देन दैट 50 बिप्स प्लस लॉट ऑफ लिक्विडिटी ऑपरेशंस दैट RBI इज ऑलरेडी डूइंग, दैट विल हेल्प द इकोनॉमी. बट जो डैमेज होता है ना भाई, देखो कहीं भी डैमेज होता है देन इट टेक्स टाइम टू रिपेयर. ओके, सो देर इज अ टेक्निकल डैमेज, देर इज अ स्लो डाउन इन इकोनॉमी, तो वो एक डैमेज है. तो जितने जितने अर्निंग स्लो डाउन का डैमेज है, तो वो सब डैमेज को रिपेयर करने में टाइम लगता है. Okay, then when you are prepared, there is some damage in your house, the seepage हो रहा है, then it takes time. You first take out the damaged part, then you rebuild it, फिर सीमेंट लगाओ, फिर पानी डालो, फिर उस पे कलर लगाओ. तो पूरा एक टाइम लगता है डैमेज को रिपेयर होने में. एंड आई थिंक that is what happening अभी. We might be in the last leg of damage soon, and then there will be the repairing work started. So you need to be careful overall in the right. And I think a lot of things coming in the US, the tariff things coming up. The positive side is like the Trump is focusing on ending the war. Okay, US की इकोनॉमी ग्रोथ ज्यादा हो रही है. हाँ, वहाँ पे इस बार का इन्फ्लेशन ज्यादा है. बट इफ यू लुक एट इंडिया, इंडिया में इन्फ्लेशन कम आया. तो यूएस में एक आध थोड़ा और पुश हो सकता है 25 बिप्स रेट हाइक. बट द प्रेसिडेंट इज इन फेवर ऑफ द रेट कट्स. ओके, सो let's see how the things goes. But broadly, the things might settle over next 1 or 2 months, but you never know what will happen in the market at index level in that 1 or 2 months. So you need to be careful over there. And you should not follow always the news, but technical is the first indicator. एक बार अगर यहाँ से निफ्टी 200 DMA 50 और 200 DMA के ऊपर विथ स्ट्रेंथ आता है, देन यू कैन कंसिडर दैट हाँ अभी थोड़ा एक बॉटम फॉर्मेशन वाला मामला दिख रहा है. राइट, नाउ लेट्स लुक एट फ्यू अदर स्टॉक्स. First, sorry, the sectors, the Nifty Bank. So yeah, it also attempted a good rally, but 50 DMA पे हाई बना के फिर से नीचे आ रहा है. So यहाँ भी similar, it has a strong support around 48K. Okay, and then अगर नीचे की साइड देखो तो ये 45 to 46 वाला zone, but I think 48K is a very strong support for Bank Nifty, and it should hold that level on the downside. राइट, ओवरऑल रिजल्ट्स भी एक डिसेंट आए थे. आई थिंक अभी आज कोटक से वो जो न्यू ओपनिंग था अकाउंट रिलेटेड इशू, दैट इज आल्सो रिजॉल्व. HDFC बैंक एंड द अदर प्राइवेट बैंक्स आर डूइंग वेल. ओके, द बैलेंस शीट इज स्ट्रॉन्ग. जो उनका एमपीएस है वो एक लो लेवल पे, तो ब्रॉडली द थिंग्स आर गुड. यस, बट लुकिंग एट द मार्केट सिनेरियो, 4-5% का ऊपर नीचे मूव इन इवन इन द बिगर स्टॉक, दैट इज हाईली पॉसिबल ऑलवेज. Let's look few other names. The sectors, Nifty FMCG. Yes, यहाँ पे एक शार्प फॉल देखने को मिला. ओके, आफ्टर द बजट यू कैन सी ओवर हियर ऑन द 31st, उसके पहले और फर्स्ट के 3rd Feb को, like first and 3rd Feb, there was a very good momentum with the tax cut that government came up with. Okay, so the FMCG stocks were doing really well. They were moving close to 200 DMA, and there was a good chance of a breakout. बट वो हुआ नहीं. इंस्टेंट यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, एक ट्रिपल टॉप जैसा फॉर्मेशन बन गया अभी, राइट, इन दी एफएमसीजी स्टॉक्स. एंड इट ऑलरेडी गेव द ब्रेकडाउन. अभी यहाँ पे ऑलमोस्ट अक्टूबर से होल्ड करने की ट्राई कर रहा था अराउंड 54-55,000 लेवल, बट वो ब्रीच करके ऑलमोस्ट 53,000 तक आ गया. एंड yes, so here also there is a very strong support near 50 to 53,000, and it should hold. So last year March April का लो है, it should hold in Nifty FMCG, but don't be aggressive over here. Bottom fishing is not suggested, guys. एक बार ये ऊपर आता है, नीचे का 4-5% जाने दो, ठीक है, 5-7% जाने दो. एक बार ऊपर आता है, स्टॉक्स में ब्रेकआउट दिखता है, इंडेक्स की मूविंग एवरेजेस रिक्लेम करता है, then that is the best time to have a fresh entry in the stock. But you should definitely keep these sectors like FMCG in radar, because overall the earnings have been stable. The rural demand में green shots देखने लगे हैं. Even the RBI is indicating that. And if you look at the agricultural output, Kharif, Rabi, both seasons went really well. The rainfall is good, the water level is good. So I think after 2-3 years of good overall rainfall, I'm not saying there might be specific area problem, but overall rainfall and was good, and crop production was good. So I think now the demand might pick up well from the rural as well, and with the tax cut, even the urban might join the party, and then that will be very good for the consumption as well as the FMCG story. Right. Now, if you look at the Nifty Auto, so yes, this index was a very good performer over the last 1.5-2 years. And just a second, let me reload it. Yeah, this was a very good performer over last 2 years, but I think since it's the market topped in this second half of the September, there has been good selling over here. But the good part is that it is not making fresh lows. Now it is holding around this 21-22,000 का इसका zone है, वहाँ पे hold कर रहा है. And two-wheelers are supporting well. So I think the TVS is doing well. The Maruti में एक अच्छा momentum आया. बाकी टाटा मोटर्स और हीरो में काफी फॉल आया था, बट लुक्स लाइक दे आर ऑल्सो इन प्रोसेस ऑफ फॉर्मिंग अ बॉटम. एक शार्प फॉल ऑलरेडी आ गया है वहां पे भी. एंड द वे द सेल्स नंबर्स आर कंसिस्टेंटली कमिंग वेल, and it is expected to increase from here, okay, with more and money in the hand of people. EMI का थोड़ा मतलब इंटरेस्ट रेट अगर 25 बिप्स कट हुआ और 25 बिप्स हो जाता है, then that will be a good scenario for the auto companies as well. But here also again, like no point in bottom fishing the stocks. Let it break out on a strong volume. Now, if you look at Nifty Pharma, तो दिस हैज बीन रिलेटिवली स्ट्रॉन्ग. लास्ट 1-2 साल से भी एक अच्छा मोमेंटम में है. प्लस अभी की जो मार्केट का फॉल आया है उसमें दिस इज क्वाइट रेजिलियंट. इफ यू सी फ्रॉम द हाई, इसमें कोई मेजर फॉल देखने को नहीं मिला है. So there is around 10%. That is a very good, like, decent fall after the way the market has fallen, the Nifty level, the mid cap, small cap level. So this one is holding, and I think a lot of scenarios change for the pharma companies. A lot of new patents have been granted. जो US FDA का clearance था वो भी काफी सारा मिल गया. The pipeline is very good. Okay, plus the pricing जो यूएस में प्रॉब्लम था 1-2 साल पहले वो काफी इम्प्रूव हो गया है. डिमांड भी यूएस से मिल रही है वापस. China plus one is playing its part. So a lot many things that are positive for the pharma sector, and this can be kept on the radar. Once as a sector, it again reclaims the 50 and 200 DMA, we might see some good momentums and quality names over here. Okay, yes. Here there has been a sharp fall in metals, a lot of volatility in the metal prices globally. Okay, but once the global growth should come in, so there is a lot of development happening in the Chinese growth story. Okay, so once if we see that the growth story in China picks up and it can deliver, then the prices of ferrous plus non-ferrous, both the metals will see a good momentum. Plus in domestic market in India, already there is good demand of steel and other metals. So if there is a good opportunity coming from China, like in terms of growth, then I think the global prices might do well in the metal sector and the overall sector can perform really well. But we need to see how the data turns up in the China and how the prices in the global markets can be seen. So that's important to watch out. Right, last one, and then we go to your questions. Yeah. So overall, the sector moved sideways, quite resilient. I think after pharma, or you can say with pharma, this is one of the very resilient sector, Nifty IT. Here, the growth that is coming up in the US market, the GDP of the US is increasing. वहाँ पे जो रेट कट भी हुआ अभी, ठीक है, ये भी कल परसों जो भी इन्फ्लेशन थोड़ा it was a bit higher, and again there is question mark around the rate cut cycle and all. That is a different thing, but overall the profitability of the US firms, especially the BFSI, the pharma, the retail, that has been decent. And I think they are the major customer for the Indian IT companies. So overall, their margins as well as the business might improve well. Okay, the guidance has also been decent. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई guidance में major cut आया है. एक दो कंपनी का आगे पीछे रहता है, but overall broadly as an index, as a sector, this is going to perform well. But here also again wait for some key moving average reclaim. Right. Okay, so that's from my side in the first half. Now we will go to your question. With me in the room, my colleague Rajshekhar is there. So both of us will try to answer as many queries as possible. We'll try to take in a row in the sequence wise. Please do not keep on repeating your queries because it's a live session and it becomes tough to scroll to check out the queries, and limit your queries to one or two. So please don't post your entire portfolio because that will be a fair deal for all the participants. So we'll try to answer one or two queries from everyone, and please do not keep on repeating it. Me and Rajshekhar will answer it.
Thanks, Rashid.
Hi, Rajshekhar.
Yeah, I'll start with the stock specific queries. We can
Sure.
go with the Affil India. Currently, it is trading in a consolidation based pattern as we speak, and it is holding its 200 DMA. In the recent turbulent times, volatile times, you can say this stock has stayed slightly resilient compared to the others. RS line is also been holding its strength around the 75 to 80 levels, which is a very good sign. Most of the stocks in the mid and small cap spaces have breached their 200 DMAs as well, but this stock has good support and finding support at its 200 DMA, which is a very good sign of a very strong fundamental and technical wise. And if you look at the other ratings, especially the fundamentals have been very consistently, the company has been able to generate double-digit growth in terms of sales and profits. That shows that explains the EPS strength of 91. Price strength, as we talked, is very good, still at 76, even though it has come down slightly, but it is holding, which is a very good sign. Buyer demand has come down slightly because of not so accumulation in the recent times, but that will pick up as the stock gains higher on higher volume. And if you look at the price volume action front, currently the volumes have been slightly below average or at least near the average, but the volumes have to increase from here. And there is 16%, 18% to the pivot, so which is a very long way to go. It needs to take out its pivot before we take a decision, and otherwise it's a very good stock. And if you are holding it, definitely a very good stock to hold, given that it is holding its 200 EMA. But if it breaches its 200 EMA, you should exit. Okay, next, going ahead, we can look into is what Exide Industries, Tata Tech. Yes, you can see here that clearly the momentum is on the downside. Way before the market gave up, this stock has gave up its returns way before ahead, and almost 6 to 7 months back, it started to turn on the downside, and it breached its moving averages comfortably, and it is trading way below its 200 EMA. That shows it is a very laggard in the current market. Definitely, we do not advise to stay invested in these kind of stocks. You can see the ratings as well. Ratings have taken a hit as well, both fundamentals and technicals. Clearly, a case of uh, beaten down stock, and these are the stocks one should avoid according to the O'Neill's perspective. There is a lot of work to be done by the stock in terms of price volume action. It needs to improve its ratings, and it needs to consolidate for a period of for a short period of time and before taking a call. But that's a very long time. From here, if you look at current trading levels against the previous highs it made in June, that is almost 40% decline. So there is a lot of supply zone as well, where it might find resistance going ahead. So given these factors in mind, and taking these pointers, we can comfortably say that it's not a good stock to take a entry. And if you are holding it already, and but you should have exited way before now, but better late than never, as they say. You should exit at CMP and stay in cash and look out for stocks which are going or giving good buy signals. Next is Tata Tech. A very similar story, but this stock has been consistently on the downside since listing. That is almost a year back. More than that, it has been consistently moving lower and lower. It is forming lower lows as it progressed, and definitely we not a good sign to take entries in this kind of stocks. According to O'Neill's methodology, we do not consider taking entries or looking at these stocks from an investment perspective. It needs to improve a lot from here, although it has coming up from a big heritage group. Still, it has to stand alone. It has to perform well, and operationally it has to show why it is a good company from Tata Group, but that is not happening in the current scenario. It needs to improve a lot on the operational front and profits and margins front as well. If those things improve from here, definitely the stock that price action will be reflected. But currently, it is showing a downward trajectory from here as well. RS belonging to almost lowest category, and price strength, buyer demand also belonging to poor category. So definitely not a very good stock to consider. Uh, Even though most of the stocks in the current market are beaten down, but this stock has been in the downside way before the market started to fall.
Thanks, Raj. I like Geo Finance. Yeah, the stock is almost 42% from high. And this is not a small correction, I think. Right from the, touching almost the 400 level. Now the stock is about to touch 200 level. So more than 40% of fall, 40-45% from the high. So avoid it. Try to avoid such falling stocks. Till the time it reclaims its key moving average, एक bottom formation दिखे, नीचे से एटलीस्ट 15-20% की एक रिकवरी हमको देखने को मिले, दैट इज व्हेन यू शुड वॉच आउट फॉर द स्टॉक. देयर इज नो पॉइंट इन कैचिंग द फॉलिंग देयर. द क्वेश्चन इन योर माइंड माइट बी कि भाई अगर 10-15% यहाँ से बढ़ा उसके बाद लेंगे, देन वी विल मिस दैट पार्ट, बट यू नेवर नो ना हाउ मच इट विल फॉल. So ideally there were lots of talk in the August when market was also doing good, that okay, the Geo is coming around 300, best time to buy. Okay, then it went higher, then again it went lower. So it keeps on happening. So till the time the market doesn't settles, fundamental results अच्छे नहीं आते हैं, technically एक base नहीं बनाता है, you should not be entering the stock. Yeah, if you have a different kind of investing psychology or methodology, that you are coffee can investor, you once buy it, you won't see the price for next 2-5 years, then that's a different case, because it's a quality stock, quality management. So they might perform well, but you never know. Even just the last one, the Rajshekhar ne discuss kiya, the Tata Tech, that's a solid parentage, but the IPO price is the high price. Like now, जो लिस्टिंग के बाद हाई बन गया, एक दो दिन में वो बन गया, एंड सिंस लास्ट 1 year it has not given profit to any of the investors, right? So that happens, but if you are invested in Tata Tech, it should be like you are invested for 4-5 years, it might give you a return. But if you think that within 1 year, 2 year, it will give return, then that's not a good idea to watch out for. So that's what happening in the market nowadays. So need to be careful over here, right? Okay, if I'll take few more, I'll take Tata Motors and ITC. HDFC. Yeah. So this one is also down almost 40 to 45%. Same story. Okay, that's after a good breakout from a stage 4 base over here. See, this is what happened. The higher stage base breakout, और वहां से एक fall आया, and since September 5, even before the market started correcting, it breached its 50 DMA. So this is what we say, that whenever the leaders of the past rally, देखो इसके पहले की जो रैली थी उसका लीडर था टाटा मोटर, वाज वन ऑफ द लीडर, यू कैन सी ओवर हियर, राइट फ्रॉम द अप्रैल 2023, जब वो 400 रुपया था वहां से 1200 रुपया हो गया, 1200 रुपीज, ऑलमोस्ट 1179, राइट इन द स्पैन ऑफ 2 years. It went almost, from 400 to 1200. So it was one of the big leader in Nifty 50 stocks. Not all the Nifty 50 stocks perform, but this was among the leader. And when the leadership stocks starts falling, in canceling you have L, right? So this was the L factor. तो यहाँ पे सितंबर में ये देखो, एक तो स्टेज 4 बेस बना दिया, ऊपर से सितंबर में गिव अप मार दिया इसने अर्ली, एंड यू सी द वे इट इज फॉलिंग. फिर तो 50 DA में रिक्लेम भी नहीं किया, एक दो दिन किया था, बट इट डिडंट सस्टेन. सो यू अगेन यू नीड टू वेट फॉर इट एटलीस्ट 50 DA में को रिक्लेम करने तक. और जो रिसेंटली रेजिस्टेंस बनता है, जैसे कि यहाँ पे 8-10-20 जोन पे रेजिस्टेंस है, ठीक है, 740-50 के अराउंड इसका 50 DA में है, तो ये सब रिक्लेम करने दो. Even if you want to early entry, it should be, logically good early entry. It should not be like कि हाँ bottom पे ले लिया, because no one can predict. Even the Tata management can't say that okay, today is the bottom. So why you want to go for the bottom fishing? So wait for some improvement in the stocks. The otherwise story is good, I think, but they need to deliver on the profitability, जिसकी consistency होनी चाहिए, margin improvement दिखना चाहिए. So that is what needs to be seen over here in Tata Motors case. We can take maybe Infi. So this one is holding well in the weak market. If you can see, it is less than 10% ऑफ highs. 10% से ज़्यादा गिरा नहीं था अपने हाई से. So this is a good setup. I consider it as a good one. Okay, the way it has moved in the last 2 to 3 4 months when the market was going south, the way it hold the position. Earnings में stable improvement है. Okay, even on the higher base, the fund holdings are improving. ROE of 30 is good. And if you can see, since August, it has been moving sideways, uh, almost like a inverted head and shoulder जैसा structure बना रहा है ये. But it is taking time to complete the structure. Currently, it is forming a double bottom, right? ये double bottom base बना रहा है, and this is good. अच्छा बेस बन रहा है. सो लेट्स सी इफ इट कैन ब्रेक आउट. एक चीज मुझे जो अच्छी नहीं लगी है बेस में, ओके, मार्केट कंसोलिडेशन के साथ बना रहा है, दैट इज गुड. इवन इन सच मार्केट इट इज 71 ऑफ आर एस इज गुड. बट ये जो वॉल्यूम है ना, वो थोड़ा मुझे ज्यादा लगा. लाइक फॉल में अगर वॉल्यूम कम होता तो थोड़ा और कंस्ट्रक्टिव वेज होगा. बट ओवरऑल दिस लुक्स गुड. लुकिंग एट द मार्केट सिनेरियो, द वे इट इज होल्डिंग, इट इज गुड. वेट फॉर इट टू ब्रेक आउट. 7% टू पीवट है, बहुत ज्यादा वेट नहीं करना है. एक बार ये 2000 का भाव इसमें लग जाए, दैट इज द बेस्ट टाइम टू एंटर द स्टॉक and play the initial momentum well. So wait for it to cross the 2000 level. And if you are holding the stock, then maybe you can use 200 DMA as a stop loss, because even in the toughest market time in the recent few months, it has not breached its 200 DMA. तो अगर ये भी 200 ब्रीच करता है, then I think वो जो हम पहले डिस्कस किए थे ना, मार्केट वो 22 के नीचे जाना पड़ेगा, तो ये वो वाला केस होगा. बट लेट्स होप दैट डजंट हैपेंस. ओके, या ओवर टू यू राज.
Yes, Rashid, I'll start with Airtel. It has been consolidating in a consolidation based pattern. I can see here. Definitely a very good stock given the market scenario. It is been holding very good, and currently it is trading in the right side of the base formation in the base, and it is inching towards its pivot levels. Another 4% from here, it will break out from the base, which is a very good sign. And you can see here that ratings have been excellent. EPS especially is highest at 99. 99 is the highest a stock can get in terms of rating. And clearly you can see why the stock has highest EPS rating. That is because of exceptional returns in terms of profits and sales growth as well. Price strength has stayed very good, and RS line has formed blue dots as well. In the current market where market Nifty continuously falling, this is a consecutively it has been forming or closing lower. But this stock you can see here is moving higher, and RS line has formed blue dots. That shows very strength which is present in the stock. And when the market structure improves from here a little bit, definitely this stock will outperform definitely. And these are the stocks one needs to keep under the radar. I can keep under buy watch list, and if it breaks out from here, it definitely very good stock to consider. And given the market it is present in, majorly Jio and Airtel are the major market shareholders in the India's cellular market. So definitely the duopoly is going on in Indian market, and there is a very long way ahead as well. The growth story remains intact. The 5G penetration and all these things will play out, and internet, Wi-Fi penetration has been lowest in the tier 3 cities. So as India's growth story continues, these companies, especially Jio and Airtel, will come into picture. And it depends on which company showcases its strength in terms of operations, that will stand out. And the same will be reflected in the price action as well. So the growth story is being intact. As India grows, Intel and other tech companies will also definitely show their dominance. Currently, if you look at coming back to the price volume action, very good on the price volume action front. And another 4% from here, if it breaks out, definitely a very good stock to consider, even though the market structure has not been at the highest level, but this is a very resilient and showing outperformance in the market. So these are the bets you can take in the market, and most of the times these kind of bets will give good profits in the long horizon. Next is Finiotex CL. Finiotex.
Which one?
FCL.
Acha.
This is in contrary with the Airtel price volume action trend. It has been forming lower lows in the last 3 to 4 months. Consistently, it has been trading below its 200 EMA. Once it reached its 200 EMA, you can see the structure and you can see continuous selling happening in the stock. That is the reason we always say whenever a stock breaches its long-term moving average 200 EMA, that is when you should completely exit. And if you're holding it, these are the kind of patterns you'll see, and losses one would make in any of the stock. And again, coming to the this particular stock, the price strength has deteriorated because of underperformance in the market. There is no point of making fresh entries. There is no uh, point of talking about fresh entries. EPS is good at 84, but technicals, as they say, is the leading indicator, and one should go with the technicals, uh, and technicals should be given more weightage if you are talking about exit or entry, both. It needs to improve from here another 30-40% from here. That is when it will come and again make new highs. Until then, it's a wait and watch game, and better to exit at if you are still holding it, better to exit and look out for stocks, or you can stay in cash as well. Next is NetWeb. This stock has done very good, tremendously in the, you can see the left part of the chart. It has moved higher and higher after base for after breakout. It gave good returns, but until recent downfall, where it started almost at the end of December, it started to give up its gains. Starting, it reached its short-term moving averages and followed by long-term moving average as well. 200 EMA has also been breached. After that, you can see strong selling has happened in the stock. Stock continuously has fallen, and the volume has also been on the higher side. That shows that there is consistently big players are exiting the stock. That is reflected in the volume section. And currently, it is trading in the almost at the lower lows in the recent lows. Uh, Technical ratings are completely taken or beaten down, you could say. EPS is still intact, but EPS doesn't change much. That changes only once in a quarter. But technical ratings are ones which needs to be looked at in the current times. And if you are going by those ratings, definitely a not good stock to consider. And if you are holding, as we are been mentioning, you should have exited at the 200 DMA breach itself. But you would have made a very good loss as well if you are still holding. Uh, you can exit at the current market price and look out for stocks which are doing good in the market. Next is Triveni Turbine. It is one of the very good stock from the candlestick methodology. We had this stock in our portfolio as well, and until 2 months back, it was doing very good. But in the recent sell-off, this stock has also given up its gains, and it is down almost more than 35% from the highs it made. It breached its 200 DMA and currently it is trading comfortably below that level. It needs to reclaim those levels again, and it needs to consolidate before breaking out. Until then, there is no point of taking fresh entries. But the company, as we mentioned, has been very good in terms of both fundamentals and operations wise. It has been a very good stock, and but given the market scenario and given the stock's present situation, we are not advising for a fresh entry, but it needs to show its strength. And if the market structure improves from here, then definitely we are expecting these kind of stocks to show strength and reclaim their moving averages way before the overall market turns forward.
Thanks, Rajshekar. I'll take few queries. So Sambit has a question: what kind of black swan event might change the course of the market? So no one knows about the black swan event, and that's what it's a black swan event. So yeah, it was just a uh, like there is a broader range in the market, and if you see some extraordinary fall, okay, that cannot be due to some normal situations or something building up, because earnings जो भी वीक था वो ऑलरेडी रिफ्लेक्ट होना स्टार्ट हो गया है मार्केट में। जिस तरह से मार्केट गिरा है, 50 अराउंड 12-13% निफ्टी, 20% ब्रॉडर मार्केट, तो वो एक अर्निंग वीकनेस की वजह से, ग्लोबल सिनेरियोस की वजह से, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ फैक्टर्स, एफआईआई सेलिंग इज देयर। ओके, ब्लैक स्वान इवेंट, maybe you know what that means. It comes out something suddenly like COVID or something like that. That is the one. The second part of your question is USD is becoming stronger. At what point it might reverse so that it aids the market? See, ideally, two things. एक तो है डॉलर इंडेक्स। सो डॉलर इंडेक्स अराउंड 110 पे आके थोड़ा रिवर्स ऑलरेडी दिखा है। सो नाउ इट इज बिलो 108, so 2-3% ऑफ हाइज ऑलरेडी। ओके, एंड when the dollar index was moving higher from 100 to 110, almost 10%, 2-3 महीने में डॉलर इंडेक्स बढ़ा था। हम इतना डेप्रिशिएट नहीं हुए थे कंपेयर टू अदर इमर्जिंग मार्केट करेंसीज, बट आई थिंक ऑफ लेट वी डिड डेप्रिशिएटेड, ओके, एंड दैट हैज इम्पेक्टेड द मार्केट ऑल्सो। बट ब्रॉडली वी आर अभी की जो रेंज है वहां से 2 रुपया इधर या उधर, दैट इज व्हाट वी फील दैट द रेंज माइट बी, because there are two things. The first thing, the US is also in the rate cut cycle. Maybe छोटा मोटा pause इधर उधर होगा, वो अलग बात है। Plus, the President Trump always wants a competitive export. तो अगर US को अगर competitive export में जाना है, if they want their manufactured goods to be sold well in the world, so it is very difficult for me to buy their goods at 90. When my rupees is 90, it is tough to buy their goods from there, okay. So overall they want कि डॉलर इंडेक्स, जो डॉलर की स्ट्रेंथ है वो इतनी भी ना बढ़ जाए कि उनके लिए एक्सपोर्ट करना टफ हो जाए। होता क्या है कि इंपोर्ट्स इजी होगा, चलो, अगर तुम्हारी कंट्री की करेंसी इज वेरी स्ट्रांग, यू कैन इजीली इंपोर्ट फ्रॉम द इमर्जिंग मार्केट्स एट अ वेरी चीपर प्राइस बिकॉज यू हैव अ स्ट्रांग करेंसी, ओके, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट केस। बट आफ्टर अ टाइम it is not your, you should not want to put your country into import dependency, okay. You want to be exporting nation, you want to make in America. That's what the new government over there wants, I think, both the president and vice president. And Trump has always advocated not a strong dollar. He's not an advocate of strong dollar. Last time also when he came, he tried to make sure that dollar remains in a range. So I think he will try to bring back that 100 के आसपास फिर से डॉलर इंडेक्स को 5-7% करंट प्राइस से नीचे ले जा सके। सो वी माइट सी दैट इन द नियर टर्म ओनली एक डॉलर में टॉप बन जाए। आई एम नॉट सेइंग वी ऑलरेडी हैव अ टॉप, बट मे बी ये 2-3 रुपया अभी जो करंट प्राइस है वहां से ऊपर नीचे की रेंज फॉर नेक्स्ट 1 year you can see. Varundeep Bhatia has a question. Supply at Nifty is increasing. I can't see it drying soon till 21. Please measure the supply zone from top and little bit of demand is coming. Request. Uh, I'm not very clear with your question, but yeah, you are asking about the Nifty supply zone as well as the demand zone. So yes, see, overall the supply zone currently जिस तरह का FI का short selling है, तो दे आर अगेन इंक्रीजिंग द शॉर्ट। सो ब्रॉडली जैसे ही मार्केट 2-3% ऊपर जाता है, देयर कम्स सम सप्लाई, सो समवन वांट्स टू गेट आउट फ्रॉम द मार्केट, ओके। कि भाई लाइक यू ओनली यू आर एज्यूमिंग दैट 21 आएगा, तो अभी अगर मार्केट यहाँ से 500 पॉइंट बढ़ा, देन यू विल बी लाइक ओके लेट्स कम आउट अ बिट फ्रॉम द मार्केट, सो दैट विल बी योर investor psychology. Okay, so that psychology is always putting a, we call it OH. Okay, that is overhead supply. So there comes the overhead supply. Whenever the market tries to rally, it loses the confidence because there are a group of investors who are telling that okay, let me come out of the market, or let me now squeeze my position if you are in a futures. Okay, so that is what happening. So after every 1 to 3% of gain, there is coming a supply, and I think after every 1 2% of fall from now, there might be some bit of demand coming because valuations are cooling down. Some bit of earnings have been good this time, and it might improve in 1 or 2 quarters. So gradually over 1 2 month, you might see some supply coming. But yes, the first strong supply zone is around 22 to 22 200, and then around 21 500. So there are good supply zones. Okay, Hitesh has a question on DLF. So I will take DLF and UPL and then hand over to Raj. Okay, so it was in a good momentum. Overall, the real estate stocks have done well. I think a lot of new projects, lower level of inventory, quality projects. But I think since last 5 to 6 months, or you can say since April, there has been a sideways movement over here. It is down around 30% from its high. इट वॉज होल्डिंग लाइक अभी तक रिसेंट तक होल्ड कर रहा था, दिसंबर तक ये होल्ड कर रहा था. आफ्टर अ फॉल इट अगेन मूव हायर, बट नाउ देर इज सम साइंस ऑफ सेलिंग अगेन ओवर हियर, some distribution in this zone, and so avoid it. I think if you are holding the stock, then this 680 to 700 is a good support zone. If you let me check on the weekly front. या ऑन वीकली एज वेल, आई थिंक 680 के अराउंड एक अच्छा सपोर्ट है. आज उसके नीचे बंद हुआ है, सो नीड टू बी केयरफुल. अगर यहाँ से और नीचे जाता है लाइक 1 or 2% मोर, इट्स गुड टू एग्जिट अकॉर्डिंग टू ओनिल मेथोडोलॉजी. एंड you should like avoid fresh buying over here till the time it reclaims the key moving average. So need to be very careful with your stop losses in this market. Okay, one more from my side, that is UPL. यहाँ पे एक अच्छा मोमेंटम बिल्डअप हो रहा है. इट इज ट्रेडिंग नियर इज 52 वीक हाइज. गुड ब्रेकआउट फ्रॉम अ स्टेज वन कंसोलिडेशन बेस. आई थिंक दिस वाज मेनली ड्यू टू द न्यूज दैट यूएस की जो कंपनी है कि जिसने बोला कि केमिकल्स का जो इनका प्राइसिंग वगैरह का है उसकी वजह से काफी सारी कंपनीज में, और बाद में जिस तरह से चाइना भी पिकअप हो रहा है, सो ओवरऑल द केमिकल कंपनीज, द एग्रो रिलेटेड केमिकल कंपनीज, ठीक है, वहां पे एक ब्रॉडली इंडस्ट्री में एक अच्छा मोमेंटम देखने को मिल रहा है. एंड द रिजल्ट्स वेर आल्सो गुड, आई थिंक. यस, इसका जो अभी सितंबर का सॉरी दिसंबर का रिजल्ट आया, दैट वाज डिसेंट ऑन द ईपीएस फ्रंट, एंड द रिकवरी is on card from here as far as the fundamentals are concerned, and that's what getting priced in. यहाँ पे एक अच्छा accumulation देखने को मिला. So it is near ideal buy zone, but the market doesn't allows you to go for fresh entry. Let the market settles. So don't be aggressive to go for fresh entry. If you are having a long term view, थोड़ा accumulate करना है तो ठीक है. It's in the ideal buy zone. अच्छा accumulation हो गया है already. बट यू नीड टू बी केयरफुल अराउंड द मार्केट, क्योंकि एक बार मार्केट जब गिरना चालू होता है यहाँ से, अगर एक और मेजर साइकिल आया फॉल का, देन एवरीवन गिव्स अप द गेन. सो देन आर वेरी रेयरली सम माइट होल्ड. बट या, that is just a problem. Otherwise, the stock look good.
Thanks, Sushit. I'll take a few queries now. Vishnu Chemicals, uh, is it a good time to buy is the question. So let's look into Vishnu Chemicals. Recently, it has broken out from a consolidation base pattern, and uh, but it gave up its gains. And it in the recent volatile times when the market has not done good, it has held its 200 DMA, which is a very good sign. And currently, it is finding momentum, or you can say has been trying to move higher, but it is not able to generate that growth in terms of share price. Uh, that is given because the overall market is in not so good condition. The mid cap, small cap, and Nifty have been closing lower consecutively. So, but this stock has been resilient, and you can say it's a leading stock in the current market in terms of price volume action, and that is being reflected in the RS strength as well. IPS has also been very good. Number of funds section has been very good as well. Buyer demand again showing good accumulation in the stock. Overall, it has been a very resilient stock in the current market, you could say. And whether is it a good time to buy, that's a very tricky question. Uh, I think the pivot levels are also very close. Another 5% from here, it will break out from the previous base. That might The previous base has formed 2 to 3 months back, so that will not be what will that previous brace will not be applicable at the current times, but that pivot can be taken as a point where you could start accumulating, and the stock moves higher from that point, definitely you could start accumulating higher into, or you can start increasing the exposure into the stock. Next is CMS info. This stock, as with the most of the stocks, has breached its 200 DMA and is not able to reclaim that 200 DMA. So that is not a good sign. If you are looking for a fresh entries, always look for stocks which are trading above their moving averages, 250 DMAs. But if they are trading below their moving averages, it's a very risky bet. You could say you would never know when the market stock is going to bottom out. You could see further selling happening in those stocks as well. Fund holding will also depreciate once the stock breaches its moving average. So that is why we do not advise to take stocks which are trading below their moving averages. EPS has been fair enough, but technicals are taking a hit because of stocks underperformance. But that needs to improve going forward for another couple of months. It might show some strength and it might reclaim those moving averages. Until then, we are not advising for a fresh entry in this particular stock. Next is PGEL. First impression of the stock is definitely a positive impression because of the very good ratings, and the chart is also showing a very good strength, and it has been a very good performer in the recent times, and it has also been resilient in the recent times for the last 1 month, even though it breached its 50 DMA, but 200 DMA has not been touched. That shows the strength in the stock. Definitely very few stocks which are trading above their moving averages. This is one of those stock, and price strength is reflecting the same number, and EPS has also been very strong. Buyer demand is also been very good. So most of the ratings and price volume action chart, everything is showing strength in this particular stock. And whether if you are looking for a fresh entry, currently there is no proper buy point available to for a fresh entry, but 50 DMA reclaim can be taken as an alternative buy point uh, when the market is in confirmed uptrend. But given the market structure and under pressure status, we are not advising for alternative buy points because the nature of aggressive buy points or alternative buy points will not be applicable in a weak market. Those are applicable only in a strong market. Next is ONGC. A very large cap stock and almost 3 lakh of market cap. It's a state-owned entity. But if you look at the price volume action, it is not being looking good. It has not been positive, we could say, and the ratings have also been on the negative side. Definitely not a good stock in terms of cancer methodology. In our methodology, we do look out for stocks which are generating growth in terms of sales, especially, and profits should also be reflecting those growth numbers. This definitely this stock has not been showing the sales growth or profits growth. So that is where it lacks in the cancel methodology, and in the technical wise as well. You could see here clearly it has been an underperformer. It has fallen almost more than 30% in the recent sell-off, breached its 200 DMA, 50 DMA as well. So not a good point of entry at this moment. I'll wait for the stock to improve from here, and if you are looking for a long-term bet or long-term investment idea, definitely you could consider stocks like these because of their market cap and the government backing they have. Otherwise, uh, in a growth perspective, these kind of stocks would not generate the growth of 30-40% per year. Those kind of growth is not expected in these kind of stocks.
Thanks, Raj. I will take few queries. So one
Okay.
is BSC, Bombay Stock Exchange. A really good story, good stock, and the way the finance market in India, the financialization increases. Now we have almost 11 crore accounts in the market, and even growing more and more. And so this will be a direct beneficiary for that. And the way the F&O rules have changed, only one weekly expiry. So now even the F&O segment in the on Sensex is getting some good traction. So this has hold really well in the market. ठीक है अभी भी ये यहाँ से गिरा नहीं है it is just below its 50 DMA but it is holding well so it has up almost 170% in last 1 year and it continues to move higher even the results have been very good look at the increase in fund holding the ROE the result everything is good so if you are holding you might watch out for this 5000 level वहाँ से अच्छा support है 5000 के around और pivot भी है 5000 so I think till it is holding above its pivot you can continue to hold उसके नीचे you should consider maybe might be some bit of profit booking that is what you can go for and on the flip side I think once it again reclaims its 50 DMA और यहाँ का जो अभी recent एक high निकाल लेता है then you might be with the stock can give a good return from there because the ratings are still solid the fundamental is still solid. Okay, now I will take KN ACE, Action Construction. Okay, so here also the fundamentals have been good. The ROEs has been good. Even the fund holdings are increasing. The stock is almost 28% of highs. Avoid it. As of now, the fresh entry, let it reclaim the moving averages. थोड़ा strength आना चाहिए. नीचे की साइड में ये जो pivot का low है around 1100, 1150, that can be a good support zone. So if you are holding the stock, then still holding the stock and yet not out of the stock, then you can consider those levels. Below that, we might see some more falls. So you need to watch out those levels. Okay, guys, one announcement before we close the session that almost after 4.5 years of Stock Darbar and more than 100 episodes, we are closing down this Stock Darbar series. But that doesn't mean like, it's the end of our communication. But we'll be coming back soon with something fresh that is useful, more useful to you guys, more knowledge sharing, more interactive. That's what our plan is always. But as of now, we are closing down the Stock Darbar sessions, and this was the last one. More than 100 session with this we did together. And yeah, thank you very much for joining. I know there might be many of you who might be joining a lot of sessions since last many months. But yeah, it's not the end. We will be coming up with something new. Okay, like which will be more useful and more interactive. So that's what the announcement was. Yeah, I know, I know. So I hope today's session was very useful. So we tried to answer as many queries as possible, but we might have missed some. But you can always email us, and we will try to respond it within a day or so. A very quick response we try to give it. So no worries if we missed your queries due to time crunch, because it's already more than 5:30 on the clock. So thank you everyone for joining the session. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. As Rashid said, it's been an emotional journey of more than 100 episodes, and we also feel a little sad saying goodbye to the participants here. There are participants who have consistently joined, and there are few newcomers as well. So, as Rashid said, the communication will go on, and we try to come out with more engaging sessions in the future. Until then, thank you everyone for joining, and see you again.
Thank you. Goodbye. Have a great day.